How's it going, y'all? My name is Doe, and today I'll be giving you guys a build for the repeaters to beat the Trials mode on Dauntless difficulty with a sub 3 time if you do everything right, because it's actually really hard. But before I do that, I want to show you guys the leaderboards and talk about how most of the times are bugged. My group times are majorly bugged, and the bug is when you're doing trials, you have a chance to get a lower power level behemoth. So the threat level should be 22 in Dauntless difficulty. In some cases, it'll be, say, a lesser version. I'm not really sure what the numbers are, but like 14 or 15 or even lower sometimes. And that makes it much easier to kill it because it has less health and it does less damage. So a lot of the top times are bugged. For the solo leaderboard, the first time, second time are bugged, but Frugal does have an insanely fast time as well with repeaters. He's either ahead of me or slightly behind me. But regardless, most of the top times are bugged, and that's kind of a bummer. But you can kind of tell when it's not bugged because of how much damage you take from attacks and or how much damage you do to the behemoth and how fast you get breaks. That is the main key to knowing if you get a bugged behemoth or if you have the correct behemoth. But anyway, trials are insanely hard, and repeaters are a good pick for this trial because of deflecting orbs back, and you can just avoid a lot of mechanics by shooting, and you can continue attack. You can continue attacking while moving, and that's a really big factor that makes repeaters a solid pick for this mode. And repeaters have a really insane loadout you can actually get for doing this trial. I'm going to go ahead and discuss the build right now. In this build, we have the repeaters, and for the repeaters, we have the Sylvan Barrel because Shockjaw is a shock behemoth. Terra is strong against shock, and in this case, there's no reason not to bring the Terra Barrel, which is the Sylvan Barrel, because it gives you more damage versus the behemoth because you have increased power when using a element that is strong against the behemoth. So that's a solid pick right there. And also for my chamber, I'm gonna have the salvo chamber just because I don't want to use full bore chamber and shoot myself back into an orb. I don't want that to happen whatsoever. Not a great time, don't suggest it. I might try and get a good time with this eventually, but I'm just really scared to do it, and I much prefer the salvo chamber. It's a lot quicker, and it doesn't put you back away from the behemoth or into danger on accident. For the grip, it's captains because I'm solo. If I was in a group and my teammate had the captain's grip, I would run the savage's grip in a heartbeat, but that's just me. Now for my mod, I have the Tactician's Magazine, and this is a new mod for repeaters, and it's probably the best mod, and even if it's not the best, which I think it is, it's the most fun mod. So, empowered reloading at exactly 0 ammo, decreases the cooldown of both abilities by 4 seconds. That's insanely good, and it makes it much more fun to play repeaters. Your cooldowns are shorter, and you can do more attacks more often. It just gives you more buttons to press more frequently, making the repeaters a much more, I guess, button-intensive weapon to play instead of just holding left click, and that makes me really happy. And now for the Prism, it's going to be Searing Prism because it's the best in slot right now. You use it on every single fight in the game. That's just how it works. And for my gear, I'm going to have the Reza helmet, which is going to be Light's Crown, the Hellion chest piece, which is going to be called Hellplate Cuirass, I can't say that word, and the Rezakiri gloves, which are Light's Refuge, with the Kushai feet called Stride of Thorns. And my lantern is Ambermane's Rapture, and I'm picking this because I think I saw Frugal using it, and I don't know what his explanation was for it, but I know that the damage from the lantern should be giving you the correct damage, because like I would normally use Drastic Lantern, but that lantern is shock, and I'm pretty sure it does very little damage to Shockjaw Nayzaga since Shockjaw Nayzaga is also a shock behemoth. Plus the attack speed makes you shoot faster, you can get more reloads in, reduce your cooldowns more often, and you'll also be proccing Searing Prism more often with more attack speed. So that's my reasoning behind it. I think the damage part could be scuffed, but I'm not sure why it would. But anyway, for the perks of this build, we're going to have +6 Aetheric Attunement, Berserker, Conduit, Molten, and Predator with a +3 Fleet-Footed. Now I will explain the Berserker Cell. This is a new cell. So I have a video on the cells if you want to watch that, but regardless, the Berserker Cell has a negative effect, and this effect is when using it at any level, you'll lose max health. At +6, you'll lose 300 max health, and that might sound rough, and it kind of is, but it's a good thing because the benefit is really nice. So after dealing damage, gain 3.5% damage for 3 seconds, stacks 10 times. On repeaters, this is a godsend because repeaters can actually maintain this buff from range since they are a projectile weapon. So say you're doing DPS with Behemoth up close, it runs away, you can hit it and then run towards it, hit it again, maintain the buff from a distance so you never lose your stacks. And this is a really nice thing for just DPS in the game, and especially for repeaters. And speaking of DPS, you're going to need pylons and tonics to do the most damage possible to get the fastest time on the Trials leaderboard you can, or just do it as fast as you possibly can. And you're going to need the Inspiring Pylon, which you place a pylon that grants 25% increased damage dealt from all nearby slayers for 45 seconds. And you can bring 3 for a hunt if you have, I think, a certain Slayer Mastery or Behemoth Mastery. Now, you also need Frenzy Tonics, which grant you 50% increased damage dealt for 60 seconds, and they also grant you 30% if a Behemoth is enraged. And finally, the Aether Drive Tonic, which grants 100% increased Lantern generation from all sources for 60 seconds. And this is important because you also have Conduit, so this will give you, for one, more damage from your Lantern because you're doing more hold casts, and it will also make it easier to maintain Conduit attack speed because you have more hold casts going. And that is basically the whole build, and now it's time to try and teach you guys how to fight Shotgun Nayzaga and not get absolutely collapsed. So this is the run I did to actually beat it. I got a 249, and I actually messed up quite a bit. It was kind of my bad, but the run was good because it wasn't on a weak Nayzaga. It was on the correct Nayzaga, and that was all I really wanted. I could do a better run, but it was really hard to get this run going, so I'm not going to try and spend more time getting a perfect run just because I am pressed for time. I'm going on vacation, so this is what I got. And I'll do my best to try and break it down for you. I'm going to go ahead and watch it while talking about it. In the future, I'll do a more in-depth breakdown, but for right now, I'm pressed for time. So for the first run, for the first start, you pop your potions before going and landing the jump pad thing. You jump, and before I land, I throw my Q. So as I land to pick it up, I shoot to get Molten, roll backwards into the Molten, and I roll through it to get Empowerment. And then I keep DPSing it while dodging. And here, get as close as you can so it doesn't trigger the pylons initially. Doing this, staying at the face of the Behemoth during this moment, makes it so the pylons don't go out, and you can just DPS for free and not worry about that. And the hope is you enrage it, and when it's enraging, it will, again, keep DPSing you. And in a perfect situation, it won't pylon until Aether Form. And that is just insane. So, yeah, dodge the enrage, do all this kind of stuff, and it'll keep attacking me, which that should have done more damage. I'm actually not sure why I didn't. But that wouldn't one-shot me, I don't think. So you keep DPSing it. I got so lucky with those pylons, I'm not going to lie. And here you maintain as much attack speed as you can, try and maintain the orbs, pick them up, pop potions at the 1 minute mark, or in this case the 57 mark, and get my orbs. I got lucky here again, that they just didn't curve into me. And I could actually be playing a little bit further back than I am. I don't know why I'm playing so close, which that should have been an Empire Reload, 100%. But I'm not playing as far away as I could with repeaters, and that's just because the way I play repeaters, I don't like doing that. It's not very fun for me. I like being close to the Behemoth and playing like I'm playing a sword, which isn't the most optimal thing in the world, but it's just how I play them. So there's that. Now here, I get Empowerment before going to the pylon. I want to maintain as much uptime on my Empowerment as I can, so I empower off Nayzaga before going to the pylon. And this makes it so I can break it in one rotation and not have to dodge any of the Aether Form trimmers, because those are freaking hard to dodge. And I put on the pylon at the Behemoth, which pylon management is really important. Potion management in general is really important, which, speaking of that, I should pop potions right now. I just don't have time. I'm smart. Never mind. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer, chat. That's a bug. And that almost got me killed. So I'm not really upset about that because it was like it bugged out. It went to my pylon duration, but I almost died for it. And here you just keep maintaining the DPS. You keep throwing down the buffs. Almost died there too to the ice and the hitbox on Nayzaga. Was about to cry. And right there, I didn't have to roll into that. That did not have to happen. I could have stayed in the pylon doing DPS right there and gotten a faster time, but for some reason I get so close to Shotgun Nayzaga. Here I roll away from the trimmer. You can roll into it or away from it. Rolling away is a lot safer because the timing is not as intense. And that was a pretty lucky roll, I think. I think that I got lucky with that by maintaining my stacks right there, and I also break the face, and the break is what saves the time. I get a 249, and that is the fight. And it was really intense. and I will do better again. I get hit here because feels bad, dude. But that was an intense run, and it took me so many tries to get this time down. So I'm really happy with the time. It wasn't perfect, and I could definitely do better. I lost Predator, by the way. I lost Pred for 15 seconds right there, which is rough. But that's the time. That's the run. And if you guys like the video, let me know in the comments. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more Dauntless content, that's what I do here. And consider checking out my Twitch channel. I recently got Twitch partner. I'm excited about that. I'm also a Dauntless partner. I have my own flare. So if you want that flare, subscribe on Twitch with either Prime, get a gifted sub, or tier 1 sub, or anything of that nature. You'll get my flare if you join my Discord. And lastly, I have an Epic Games per card code. That's just OhDough. Use that when you're at Epic Games Store or buying things in Dauntless because it supports myself and it means a lot. But y'all, that's the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And then I'll get you.
I'm so lucky it didn't hit me.
It's not gonna work, huh? Oh, why does it not work? Big.
Don't solo
are
that.
trash cans.
Don't straight up solo that.
Okay, so this is a normal one for sure.
God dang it, team, come on!